hosted by Mike, the Big Cheese.
All right, welcome back to the Heavy Metal Mayhem radio show. It is March 20th, the first day of spring, and it really feels like it here in New York. Tonight, Dennis Schwan from Sanction is on the show. Iman wanted to hear from him. Iman got him. I don't know what it is, and we lost so many great bands that couldn't make it, and Sanction could have been one of them. Like you said, a couple of years earlier, things would have been different maybe. You don't know. It's all playing Monday morning.
I really think so. I really do think so. But then the other thing is, though, I have a friend that always talks to me about it, and says it's probably for the best, because can you imagine, even with these bands, like I was saying, when bands don't even have any real stakes involved, when we're not even talking about big money or whatever, there's trouble, there's egos, there's fights, dumb things. Now imagine escalating that. What if we did make it? Then, to say nothing of like potential drug problems, alcohol problems, all these stories that play out again and again and again that come with the fame, with everything. So sometimes you never know. It might be a blessing in disguise that we never got big, and now we're still here and able to have this rebirth and appreciate it again, Well,
now that you do have this rebirth, what is the status of Sanction these days? Is it something that's going to happen again?
So I really want it to, and I have a game plan that I would like it to play out. Now, whether it's going to be reality or not, time will tell. Almost all of the guys are still active, doing one thing or another, so still performing and still have their chops up. So it is very possible. The guitar player Rick is in a band called Vicious Licks in California. He lives in California. So we are separated now. The drummer Jamie, he does a bunch of different things. He's like JP, Jean-Pierre, one of these guys that's like in 20 bands at all times and doing all kinds of things. He's in a New York Slayer tribute, which I believe they're called Show No Mercy. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
No,
I think that's his most, called Show No Mercy, really great Slayer tribute. So I know he does that, as long as, I think he also has a couple of projects coming out. He does a lot of projects. So everyone is still involved, our old singers are both still involved in singing in bands. So I think it's very possible. It's really going to be a matter of, again, will we have time and the distance thing, but I want to do it. So my game plan, if everything goes right, is we still have some more stuff to potentially release. We still have a couple of recordings. I'd like to maybe do a couple of 45s, maybe some colored vinyl limited edition 45s with a couple of the tracks we haven't released yet. I have a couple of live recordings that I'd really love to release as a live album. I've got a recording from the Right Track In. I think they might both be Right Track In, or maybe one is from Sundance, but it's both versions of the band. So I have the version from the first demo with the first singer, Fred, and then I have a live show with Harry, the second singer. So I really hope to release that as a double live album. I think would be really cool. And then I have a vault. I'm a keeper. I keep everything. So I kept all the old flyers and all the old recordings. We used to just put cassette tapes in and just record our rehearsals back then. Just let the tapes play until they ran out over and over. And then we'd run to the car and grab any blank tape we could find or tape over other tapes, and put them in. So I have songs that we never finished. Actual, recordings that we just never properly put down and recorded, but were like 90% done. So I really hope, that we can finish those. That's my dream, my final dream for this. The first step is already done, and if all that is what comes of it, I'm already happy, because we've got the CD out now, which we never got to do back in the day. We only released cassettes back in the day, which was also fantastic. But to get CD, and now the vinyl's coming up in 2022. The vinyl got delayed a little bit because of all the supply chain issues and everything. But those two demos of Sanction will be released on vinyl in 2022 on Cult Metal Classics. That's going to be my real dream, because as being an old school metalhead, there's that sacredness of vinyl.
That's right.
To have something on. So when I have the Sanction demos on vinyl, that's going to really be a big moment and a real dream come true, because I always wanted to do the vinyl back then, but we just couldn't afford it back then, to do on our own. And then I really hope to record some new material, finish these old songs, and then record a little bit of new material. That's my hopes and dreams for this. So I'm hoping we can make it happen.
That would be great. If you weren't able to make it happen with the other members of the band, would you consider doing it on your own with different members where you are now, or does it have to be the bulk of the guys that played on the earlier tapes?
Me personally, I can only speak for myself, but me personally, it would have to be with the other guys. Yeah, because to me, it wouldn't. If I'm going to do something else, I would name it something else and do something else. If it's going to be Sanctioned, I really want to have those original guys. But I'm very nostalgic and like that. I don't know how the other guys would feel. We'd have to ask them. But I wouldn't want to do it without them. For sure. I would have to have them on board for sure. Especially Rick, but he was the one, like I say, that it was his idea. He started. He kind of recruited us out of another band. You know what I mean? It was his baby, and we helped realize his baby, kind of thing. And to do it without him, it just wouldn't make any sense, you know?
Yeah, no, I get that. Musically, where do you think the band would be right now? How would the band sound on those new songs? Would you look to recapture that earlier sound? Because, 30 years, a lot of influences coming out of all your lives. You're playing differently now than you did back then. I mean, do you think you would recreate that classic Sanction sound, or would it kind of go in a little bit of a different direction based on, 30 years of influence?
I think it would. I think stylistically, it would be an exact mixture of both demos. I think it would. Except I think the playing would be a little more mature, even because of other, obviously being musicians for a lot longer now, and even just being fans and having, like you're saying, more influence, more input from just listening to other kinds of music. So I think it would be basically the same with just better musicianship. I think we'd be more capable even of doing things that we had only dreamt of or imagined in our head. Because even from the first demo to the second demo, like I say, you can hear the progression of our playing. So now with all these years later and all of our different experience under our belt, I think it would mature up to even another level, but still have those roots, those original roots, those true metal roots for sure.
Man, I hope it all happens because I'm looking forward to it. And for people that don't know, they know you as the bass player in these bands, but you also sing, and you're pretty damn good at it too.
Wow, thank you so much. Wow, you really do your homework. You know your stuff. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
I'm definitely a better bass player than a singer, but I try. I try to sing.
Is it hard when you put down the bass and just have the microphone? Because, I know
a
lot of musicians, they have to put down their instrument and they sing for the first time in a band. They're like, I'm kind of lost. Like, what do I do with my hands?
Exactly. It is so hard and so awkward, and it is a totally different dynamic. Well, yeah, I started singing. I actually, the first live version of Borrowed Time, I sang for. There is a video up on YouTube somewhere. I believe it's the song Fog in the Valley, Borrowed Time, and we were playing a place here in Detroit called St. Andrew's Hall. And I was the singer, and JP, who became the singer, was on bass. And I was so awkward. And so, not only do you not know what to do with your hands because you don't have the bass, but the focal point is on you as a singer 100% of the time, which is so different. No one gives a shit about the bass player. You know what I mean? Like, I could be on fire and barely anybody would notice as a bass player. But when you're a singer, everyone is looking to you. So even the simplest thing like banter in between songs or something, I forgot that I had to do that. All of a sudden, I'm like, wait, there's a silence. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I have to say something here. This is my job. Were you waiting for the singer
to say something?
Yeah. Then I realized I'm the singer. So it is. Let me tell you, singers deserve the utmost respect. I mean, all instruments are hard, but me personally, I think singing is like the hardest thing you can do. Not only is it incredibly difficult because you're using, your natural voice, you're using part of your body, but, like I said, everything's on you. All eyes are directed at you. You're controlling the whole energy of the show, the give and take of the crowd energy and everything, and that's why, singers like Bruce Dickinson, are so great because, if you command the room, you're like a conductor of the energy of the room, and a good singer with good charisma and good stage presence has that energy to, whether it's a little tiny bar or a massive outdoor gig with 275,000 people, a singer like Bruce Dickinson can reach every single person, and that's an incredible talent to have.
It is. People
There's not many guys that
don't
can
realize
do
it until they actually get up there. What it takes. You're the conductor. You're conducting the orchestra.
Yeah, and the adrenaline starts kicking in, and the energy and the lights, and you can forget words of songs backwards and forwards. I mean, I sang in some heavy metal tribute bands too. I did some bands here in Michigan, Dark Avenger, Rock and Roll Children, Denim and Leather, singing classic. I was singing songs like The Trooper. Okay, I've known that song. I've listened to that song probably literally 100,000 times. I would forget the words sometimes, as when I'm the singer all of a sudden, because there's more pressure on, and afterwards you kick yourself like, I was just singing it in the shower, like how would I forget the words to The Trooper? But it happens. So singing it's a really tough position. It really is. I have utmost respect for incredible singers. It's something else.
Yeah. How's the scene there today? I mean, back in the 80s, they had a great metal scene, especially Harpo's. That was like their L'Amour in a way. Like, everybody went to that club for every show. I mean, how is it today? Is it still pretty vibrant? I mean, I know things have been really bad with COVID, but I mean, before then.
Yeah, it seems like it's coming out of it. You bring up Harpo's, a guy named Roosevelt, who owned another famous club called Blondie's here.
Yeah.
he now owns Harpo. So he's been putting some effort into it and getting shows again. So I have high hopes for spring and summer. And then there's a lot of underground stuff going on here. You know, there's a great club called Sanctuary, and there's a lot of good guys. You know, all the Borrowed Time guys and all the guys that gravitate in that circle. You know, guys like Victor Ruse, who's from Borrowed Time, and JP. You know, now with Traveler and 80 million other bands. JP's another one of these guys who's just like, I don't know how he fits it all in. He's like in 20 bands at once, and he's constantly writing, and it's absolutely fantastic. And a guy named Joe Cady from the band Shadow Self that I mentioned. They're actually in a new band now. So there's a lot going on in the underground scene here as well. And all these guys are, again, you know, truer than true. We're all metal nerds and all, you know, who has the rarest record, and, you know, everybody's buying and selling and trading rare records all the time and re-releases. So it's very vibrant in that sense, that true metal. It's underground, but like I say, you know, one true metalhead, in my opinion, it is worth, you know, and Manowar said this way before me, but it's worth 1,000 of what we call normies. You know what I mean? Normie rock fans. Because we live it. We're so passionate. So there's so much passion, and, you know, we'll lose money, you know, to have a band or go to shows or, you know, travel across, risk losing jobs even to go see shows. You know, that's what it means to live it, you know. Or, you know, going back to our mutual friend there, Iman O'Connor, I got to give a shout out to him. He also helped set up interview. No bullshit. He is the truest of the true. He literally has gone without food to buy rare metal records. That's the God's honest truth.
Yeah. He's a great guy. He was yelling at me at the beginning of the show because I forgot to put your mic on. So the first like 20 seconds, nobody could hear you. It was only going to say hello.
Oh, that's hysterical.
Yeah, it was only going to say hello.
By now they probably wish you kept the mic off. They're probably sick of hearing me yak. But.
No. You know what it is? I did my show on another site for like 12 years, and I started doing it on here about a month ago, and I'm still getting the feeling for the switchboard. So I forget to click the button sometimes. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Like, I can't hear Dennis. I'm like, oh, crap. I forgot to hit the button.
Oh, that's so funny.
But we didn't get it.
That was probably my best part. That was probably my best part of the segment, too.
It was hello, so we're okay.
Yeah, right.
We're mostly greeting each other. I feel bad.
Oh, I'm so old school. I'm so old school with technology. It's ridiculous. One of my pandemic projects was to figure out this YouTube thing and to do the sanctioned demos and figure out how to make a YouTube video. And, you know, I know now a 6-year-old kid could do that. But for me, it was a massive undertaking. So I'm really proud of myself. So I was able to finally start a YouTube channel. It's called Tales of True Metal. And I'm still a beginner, very basic, but I really learned a lot. And for me, it was a big deal because I don't learn technology easy. I'm super old school. So
I know how you feel. I'm used to having a double cassette tape recorder, you know, the radio with the 2 cassettes, put one tape on one side, recording on the other. That's how I did it my whole life.
Yeah, you know, that first sanction demo that we did was made officially, but it was made in something, I don't even know if these exist anymore, but it was made in basically an old warehouse that just had racks, I mean, from floor to ceiling of double cassette decks.
Yeah.
Making these, like, in mass, you know, like, I can't even remember how many we pressed. I don't remember if it was 250 or 500, but whatever it was this massive room of double cassette decks. It's amazing. You know, kids nowadays, I don't think could even imagine. It would look ridiculous to them.
They couldn't even figure that out like we did, you know, and we're the same way with the internet and all this new technology. But you know what? We'll get there. We'll get there. Yeah,
slowly but surely. You know, I really hope to eventually have like you know, live streams so I could have guys like you on, guests on, and other band members, and have, you know, virtual meetups and have us talk about this stuff all as, you know, like a roundtable type of thing on a live stream. That's really what I want to do. So I have to just learn a bit more with the technology and, you know, probably get some better equipment too. But that's the route I'm headed. I really would love to do that. So I'm hoping in the next year to make that happen as well.
Oh, I hope so. And I'll be right there with you, supporting you and listening to it. But Dennis, I'm gonna have to cut. I could talk to you forever. I'm gonna have to cut you loose because we only got about 15 minutes left in the show, and I want to get on some music after this. But man, I had a great time talking with you today, and maybe we'll do this again. The next thing you put out, come back on here and we'll do this all over again, and we'll catch up.
Absolutely, I would love to. It was a great honor. Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. I'm sorry the first like 15 seconds didn't come through. They hear me, they don't hear you, but all the good stuff is there, so don't worry. I do apologize.
No problem. That's perfect for me. That makes it even more special. That's great.
Thank you, my friend. You take care. Have a great night.
All right, brother. Cheers. Hail.
Bye-bye. All right, Dennis, what a great guy to talk to. Sanction. What a great time talking to Dennis. I have to apologize that the first like 20 seconds of the interview didn't go through. Dennis was a great guy to talk to. I'm looking forward to having him back on the show one day.
Dennis